Hello, this is Justin Seven with SportsbookReview.com, and in this week's mailbag we're going to take a look at parlaying big favorites on the money line. User T Soprano recently asked about whether it's a good idea to post a 2 or 3 parlay, to play a 2 or 3 team parlay with, lock teams. The example he used was playing the Lakers, Blazers, and Jazz all on the money line. There's something psychologically very nice about playing a bunch of really good teams that in theory should have no chance of losing, but if you look at the math, playing these types of parlays really isn't that good of an idea. Now, a general rule of thumb is that for every team you parlay, if you parlay 2 teams, you're losing about 4% in juice for every team you parlay, and it can be more or less depending on the parlay odds you're getting. So if you play a 3-team parlay, you're getting juiced for about 12%. So whatever you're paying out, you probably have to get paid another 12 or 15% to make it a fair bet. Now I'm going to do an example for this week, and let's look at what some people would call locks this week. On SPR lines, we're looking at NFL plays, and I'm going to look for the biggest favorites. So let's take the 4 biggest ones. Let's take the Chargers, let's take the Colts, let's take the Titans, and let's take the Arizona Cardinals as the 4th team. Now I put this parlay into the Greek.com to see what the payout would be, and parlaying these 4 teams, $100 will pay out a win of $80. Now let's see what the fair odds would be. Now I got these odds off of the Greek.com. For each of these teams you have your favorite, which is the bigger negative number. The dog is the plus small number. Now when you want to figure out the odds of a team winning a game based on the moneyline price, there's a way you can estimate it, and that is you take the average of these 2 numbers, 460 and 360 is 410, and you divide it by that number plus 100. So we want to figure out the odds of San Diego. It's about 410 divided by 510, which is a little bit more than 80%. Now there's a better way to do this, but this simplified way is fine. We're just trying to show how bad parlays can be sometimes. Now we knew from San Diego you had about a 41 and 51 chance of winning, and I've done this for Indianapolis at 56 over 66, and Tennessee and Arizona were both 65 over 75. If you want to figure out the odds of winning the parlay, you multiply them all together, and you get about a 51% chance for winning this. Now if you remember at Olympic, we were betting $100 to win 80, and that turns out to be laying at 125. So what this shows is that even though you're betting on a lot of teams that are going to win most of the games, when you make these psychological bets of parlaying a lot of good teams, you're still getting juiced badly because you're really laying 125 on a 51% proposition. And for that to be a break-even proposition, you have to win closer to about 56% of the time. Now, is there ever a good time to parlay in a really big favorite? Yeah, there's one good time, and that's when you want to bet a lot more on a game without moving the line. Let's say you're talking to your friend at Florida and you get good information that 6 of their players have been suspended before this next bowl game. Their quarterback, 6 really good players, and you know this line is going to move. And you know the current line out there is really bad, and it's probably going to move at least a touchdown. When you have a line that is horrendous, a lot of times you could parlay the opponent of Florida with a big favorite. And even though you're getting juiced for an extra 4%, you can make this parlay bet without moving the line. So if you can only bet, for example, $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 on Florida, and then you see the line move a half point or move a point, you could play a bunch of parlays with Florida in every leg of them, and even though you're paying a small premium, you can get a lot more down at a better number. Now, it's pretty rare that you find these situations, at least in the big sports, but a lot of times in small sports you can find opportunities when you have injuries or players or suspensions or something else that hasn't been released to the news yet. That's all for today. If you have any gambling related questions, feel free to email me at justin@sportsbookreview.com.